It has been a contrasting 2 months at the start of this new season for Charlton Athletic. August brought wins against QPR and Hull, but September was nothing short of a nightmare for Guy Louson's side. They didn't win all month and have now lost their last 4 in a row. Can the first of 2 London derbies for the Addicts this month spark their season back into life? And the first of those comes this afternoon against Fulham. They saw off QPR in emphatic style just over a week ago with one of the performances of the season, but then 4 days later came crashing back down with a heavy defeat to Wolves. Kit Simon's knows his side are hard to live with when they click. The question is, will they today? And for both these sides, it is their second London derby of the season. It's 4 wins for both. It's Charlton Athletic against Fulham, and it's live from the Valley in the Sky Bet Championship. And both sides head into this game firmly in the bottom half of the championship. Fulham sitting 15th after yesterday's game. A first win here in 12 years will only move them up a couple of places, but more importantly, it will take them within 4 points of those playoff places. For Charlton, after that strong start that saw them inside the top 6, they now find themselves just a point above the relegation zone, but a much-needed win here could take them as high as 13th. And it is a measure of how little these two clubs have met over recent years that 12 of their last 14 league meetings have all come at the top table of English football. But today for Charlton and Fulham, it's all about getting themselves into the top half of the championship table. And I'm delighted to say, alongside me this afternoon, a man who made over 340 appearances of the Addicts in 9 years here at the Valley. And by the way, who 29 years ago to the day was scoring a winner for Charlton at Stamford Bridge. A very warm welcome to Rob Lee. Doesn't time fly?
It does, yeah. It reminds me of that, yeah. 20 years old, 29 years ago. I mean, it's been probably 5 years since I've been back in any capacity to watch a game here, so it's time flies.
Let's talk about your old club. A solid start to the season, but they're trying today avoid 5 defeats in a row. That hasn't happened for a long time. Guy Louson's been very keen to say it's not all about this long injury list. What else do you put this run down to?
Well, I think it's like all teams in this division, consistency. He has got a lot of injuries, had a lot of injuries. He's brought a lot of guys over from Belgium and from foreign places. And to play 2 games a week, maybe some of them find it very, very difficult. But it's all about consistency.
And you mentioned consistency, and I guess that's the one thing missing for Fulham. Brilliant against QPR from the Sky cameras last Friday. They then lose, yes, they're a man down against Wolves on Tuesday night. Is consistency the big thing missing for Kit Simon's side at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know which team's going to turn up. To beat QPR, where I think are a very, very good team really on their day, 4-0, and then a few days later lose 3-0, to Wolves. It must be consistency. I think they've got one of the best strikers in McCormack in the division. And what they do, and O'Hara as well, I think, has done very, very well for them. So they just need to get that consistency. They've got enough good players to be at the top of the league. And
just quickly, if you're Charlton, with an international break up next, and in this kind of run, does that up the pressure ahead of today's game?
I think it's a must-win, as you say. Without a win for 4 games, home to Fulham, who are very, very inconsistent, we've said, it's a must-win for them.
OK, more to come from Rob a little bit later. As I was mentioning, over 9 years since Charlton last lost 5 in a row in all competitions. Can they avoid that today, get back to winning ways, or will Fulham put in the kind of performance we saw against QPR 9 days ago? Let's find out in the company of Don Goodman. And first, good afternoon to Gary Weaver.
Thank you, Simon. Let's get straight down to the teams then. And Charlton Athletic need a win, and there is plenty of attacking intent out there to go and get it. Tony Watt is the man who was the talk of European football during his teenage years when his goal for Celtic brought down the mighty Barcelona. He's been in Belgium since and is looking to make a name for himself in the Championship. He will play just behind 18-year-old Carlan Ahern-Grant, who scored last time out at Cardiff City after coming on as a substitute. Johan Berg Gudmundsson is a big threat. He will run the show if Fulham allow him to. While on the other side of the pitch, Conor McElhaney has been sent out on loan again by Everton. He's 23 now, a big talent. Everton still have high hopes for him. Charlton are famed for their academy. Jordan Cousins is the latest off the production line. Plenty of clubs are looking at him. Well, if Charlton are to win this, then they will have to try and stop this front 2. Moussa Dembele is raw, he's quick, he has good feet. Alongside the 19-year-old is the nous and know-how of Ross McCormack. Charlton know all about him after he scored 4 in 1 league game against them for Leeds United. Jamie O'Hara is rebuilding his career, having phoned Fulham in the summer and asked for a trial. They are without one of their key players, Tom Kearney, who was sent off against Wolves on Tuesday. Lasse Vigen Christensen is in for him. The experienced Johnny Jackson is on the Charlton Athletic bench. Luke Garbett is back fit and amongst Fulham's backup. So who will be the star men, the main men to look out for? How vital, Don, is Johan Gudmundsson to what Charlton do?
Well, purely and simply, this is a team that are really struggling to find the back of the net, and in this fella here, they've got not only a goal scorer, but a creator of goals. He's got a wonderful left foot, wonderful wonderful delivery from set pieces, and he's a vital part of a Charlton cog.
Now, Fulham's problems this season have been defensively, and last season too. They brought in Richard Stearman from Wolves. First of all, how surprised were you that Wolves let him go?
Well, he was Wolverhampton Wanderers Player of the Season last season. He had a really consistent season, and we've just heard the word consistency used, and usually he is a very reliable performer. Lots of experience at this level, and it's very important for Fulham that him and Tim Ream form a better partnership and start conceding a few less goals.
The sun is shining on the capital. This corner of southeast London rolls out the red carpet to welcome the club from the other side of the river. Fulham have crossed the Thames and walk onto Charlton soil, looking to bring more trouble to Charlton Athletics door. Kit Simon's hoping to do just that. This club and this stadium, rich in history, are having troubled times again. They need to come out swinging here before a bad run of form becomes a crisis. Fulham, though, won't be offering a shoulder to cry on. They've got business to take care of themselves. They put on a real show in front of the live cameras on the banks of the Thames last Friday in a London derby, winning that West London dispute against Queen's Park Rangers. Now they're looking to take control of South London.
Well, this is a big game for both of these clubs. I think of the two, Fulham probably the aspiration.
Well, Charlton Athletic looking to start on the front foot here. It's Conor McCormack, a glorious chance which goes begging.
Well, what did I say before kickoff? This team is a team that is struggling to score goals, and chances do not come any better than this. Brilliant ball, brilliant run from McCormack. He gets in and he looks composed as he's going through. You can see what he's trying to do. He's just trying to slot it near side of Andy Lonergan, but he doesn't hit the target. What a chance for Charlton Athletic.
First chance of the game coming 27 seconds in, and it's those kind of runs which is why Guy Luzon likes to play him out wide rather than centrally. Intelligent runs from out to in, but he couldn't cash in.
Oh, what a ball as well. Movement was excellent. The only thing missing was the finish. And it hasn't gone lost on us at Charlton Athletic. They've only scored one goal in the first half of the championship games they've played this season. What a chance that was to double that tally and get off to a flying start, put Fulham under pressure.
There's Cousins. Fox on the retreat here and unable to keep the ball in play, and a wake-up call for the assistant referee Andrew Laver. Welcome to the game.
What a challenge, what a challenge. He didn't ride it, did he, the assistant referee? You see Morgan Fox coming up, jump. Never mind.
This is Pringle. Now Husband saw the gap and he's gone for it. It's James Husband. A couple of ricochets and thumped away by Alou Diarra. Quick start to this game.
Yeah, it is. Ross McCormack frustrated with James Husband there. He was available for a square pass to let the young man know.
There's Dembele. Nice touch to Pringle. Husband. Now Ross McCormack. There's Pringle. When they turn on the style, Fulham are a really good team to watch. This is Husband and that's Dembele. Last-ditch challenge on him. Patrick Bauer with it.
That is a goal-saving challenge. Wonderful defending from Patrick Bauer. Great interplay from Fulham. Husband looks lively down that left-hand side, but that is timed perfectly. Wonderful defending. Well, 3 minutes in and very lively start. High tempo, lots of energy.
There's Dembele moving the ball inside to O'Hara. Pringle picks up the baton. Tunnicliffe unable to pick out Richards. Charlton are finding life tough right now. They made sure both Hull City and Queen's Park Rangers both landed with a bump after relegation from the Premier League last season, but they haven't won since. Lose this and the bottom three will be tapping them on the shoulder.
Yeah, they're only 2 victories of the season, isn't it? Found it difficult to win games of football, and it is that lack of goals that is the major problem for Charlton Athletic.
manage to win this today, they will have some breathing space, and this place will feel a whole lot better about itself.
That's why it's a big game. They're 2 points off the bottom of this table after a pretty good start, it has to be said. Everything was going well, and then went through a little period. They're going through a little period where they simply can't buy a win. It needs to change very soon.
Richards. There's Jamie O'Hara, who has really settled into life as a Fulham player. Tunnicliffe. Now it's Christensen. O'Hara. This is Tunnicliffe again. Not enough on that though for Richards. There's Richard Stearman. Fulham did make their first bid for Stearman back in May. Eventually they got their man before the transfer deadline day. The feeling at Wolves was that Stearman may just have started losing his place to the young centre-halves that were coming up on the rails there.
Well, they felt it was imminent because they have a plethora of talented, young, athletic defenders at Wolverhampton Wanderers. We saw an example of that yesterday. Defended really well. And they thought getting £2 million for their Player of the Year was good business. It remains to be seen.
This is Christensen. Richards. Tunnicliffe. There's Jazz Richards again. Back in the team ahead of Ryan Fredericks, who did pick up an injury against Wolves on Tuesday, but is fit enough to be on the bench. There goes Cousins. This is Tony Watt. Faced by Stearman. Stearman in a place where centre-halves don't like to be. Pulled out wide, but he did the job. Jamie O'Hara. Lovely ball to husband. That's Tunnicliffe. Fulham danced around Queen's Park Rangers in the West London derby last week, but they couldn't back that up against Wolves. Wolves winning 3-0 at Craven Cottage, and they were the better team even before Tom Kearney sending off reduced Fulham to 10 men. Consistency is something that every team is looking for in the Championship, but very few find it. O'Hara, tackled well by McElhaney. That's Ream, and there's Tunnicliffe. Fulham bossing possession here. Bar with that challenge. Tunnicliffe picks up. There's O'Hara. Charlton keeping their shape here. Fulham trying to move them out of position and trying to find a way through. Charlton waiting for the turnover of possession, but O'Hara almost picked out Christensen. Stearman losing that challenge. Here he is again. That's McElhaney. This now is Goodmanson. Being pursued by Richard Stearman. Leaves Stearman grounded. And couldn't pick out a red shirt.
Yeah, it's the nearly game at the moment, isn't it? Both teams getting themselves into some really good, promising situations. Just unable at the moment, either of them, to take advantage of those situations.
Nice spin by Goodmanson. He'll fancy it on his left foot.
Well, that's where he likes to be. In the middle of the pitch on the turn with an opportunity to pull the trigger, because he has got a hammer of a left foot. Disappointing effort by his very high standards, but encouraging for Charlton if they can get him into those kind of areas.
Well, Guy Luzon is the manager who was sacked by Charlton's owner when they were together at Stade Liège, but was given another chance in his network of clubs by Roland Duchâtelet. Belgian owner didn't want to show him the door in Liège, but he was forced into it after a poor run of form. Always said that he would keep him within that network of clubs.
Well, the owner has shown, hasn't he, that he can be quite ruthless if he needs to be. With Guy Luzon, the previous manager here.
There's Alou Diarra. Dembele. That's Solly. That's Diarra. Charlton now showing that they can move the ball around quickly too. It's Cousins looking for Conor McAleny. McAleny doing well to win that throw-in off Jazz Richards.
Yeah, he did very well. He's a lively looking player.
Well, the problem for him is that when he's had a run of games, whichever club it's been at, he's picked up a niggling injury or a serious injury. Uwe Rosler wanted to build his Brentford team around Conor McAleny when he was on loan there. And unfortunately for him, he broke his leg. That's Fox. Bar.
There's just been a few loose passes from both teams that have just stemmed the flow of any kind of momentum that they're trying to build up.
Fox with the header. That's Cousins.
This is the first of 3 of the next 4 games, if you include this. Charlton have here at the Valley, playing the likes of Preston and Brentford and MK Dons coming up as well. They will see them as opportunities against teams that perhaps haven't started the season as well as they would have hoped. But it's here at the Valley that they really need to pick up the points, make this place a fortress, and they can build from that.
Guy Luzon is not one to criticise his players in public, but he did come out firing after last week's defeat at Cardiff City. He questioned their desire, their application. He was furious that they lost almost every duel in that game. He wants more commitment, more concentration. He opened the dressing room door and made his thoughts public, and he's hoping for a reaction here. Bar beating McCormack to that, and then was caught by Ross McCormack.
Just a talking to referee James Linnington. Once he deems that Ross McCormack has made the foul there, a lot of referees will give a yellow card for that. Player lunging in, not getting the ball.
Goodmanson and that potent left foot of his standing over the ball.
Well, you just get the feeling that is, even by his standards, a little bit too far out to pull the trigger.
Fulham taking no chances with a 2-man wall here. Sent in by Goodmanson and flick goalwards by Diarra, but no real trouble for Lonergan.
Yeah, good delivery. Nice nice flat delivery with a bit of pace, flicked on. These are the ones when you get a flick, you need to get them into the corners of the net, give the goalkeeper problems.
This time, Barr was late on Jamie O'Hara. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's an emotional character, this guy Luzon. If you saw his celebration when Charlton scored in the 98th minute, a winner here against Hull City, you'll know about that. He ran down the touchline Jose Mourinho-esque and landed on a pile of his players, celebrating, and was then sent off.
He's done a good job. 12th last season. You have to question what Charlton fans and the owner of Charlton can realistically expect from the club with the resources that they have at their disposal, and looking for progression really, and progression from 12th won't see them too far away from a playoff spot. It must start finding the back of the net when the chances, like the one that came in the opening 30 seconds, come their way.
Commanding header from Ream. Here's McCormack. Pringle being harassed by El Ajbar. Goodmanson outside of his left boot. Lonergan makes the decision to come eventually and gets to it.
Well, there was just a slight hesitation from Andy Lonergan. Just for a moment, I wondered whether he'd left it too late. Good movement from Ahern Grant to get in behind there, but good sweeping in the end from the goalkeeper.
There's an opportunity for Charlton Athletic to try and test Fulham here. Particularly with the delivery of that man, Johan Berg Gudmundsson. Bauer forward from the back, Diarra waiting too. Fight in by Gudmundsson and punched away by Lonergan. Good strength from McCormack. There's Fox. Now Bauer. German defender signed from Maritimo in Portugal in the summer. Gudmundsson has picked out the run here of Morgan Fox. He's got two in the middle. Michelini came racing in.
It was really good play down his left-hand side. Michelini initially sprinted inside, that left the room out wide for Morgan Fox to be found. Good play.
Fox again on the charge here. It's delivered with his right foot this time. There's Pringle. Now Ryan Tunnicliffe. Tunnicliffe bullied off the ball by Barr. Barr turning into Pringle, but still just about managing to retain possession. It's a good spell this for Charlton.
Yeah, Fulham started fairly well. Just haven't been able to build on it, and now just going for a few periods of time without seeing the ball, or much of the ball.
Diarra. Dembele leaning into Barr. There's Solly. Now Cousins. Can always see it past Jordan Cousins. He's found Ahern Grant. Cousins again. There's Bauer. Now Fox. Cousins looking to open up the pitch again. Nice touch from Solly. And Solly gets it back. Chris Solly, well watched by Pringle.
Excellent play again, patient play, and then when the space was there, they increased the tempo. Lovely diagonal ball from Jordan Cousins. Pick out Chris Solly, plays a 1-2. Pringle does well to defend that in the end.
Well, the last corner was dealt with by Andy Lonergan as he punched it clear. Lonergan comes for this again, gets a hand on it again. That's Tunnicliffe. Neither Tunnicliffe or Cousins about to hold back there.
Well, it was a ball that Jordan Cousins had to win. And he did. A strong start to the game, the young midfielder for Charlton. I have to say, Fulham started this game pretty well. Certainly the last 5, 6, 7 minutes or so have belonged to Charlton. We've both seen an equal amount of the ball. Just a one big chance that came almost immediately.
O'Hara to Tunnicliffe. Charlton putting the squeeze on.
Well, that is precisely what the manager was asking for in his press conference. In his interview prior to this game, he wanted them closing down and being on the front foot, putting Fulham under pressure, and that was a good example. They're trying to carry out his tactics.
Well, this is a new Fulham team. They were left in bits after the Premier League flag was lowered at Craven Cottage, and they've only just managed to tidy up the mess that was left behind. A lot of work was done in the summer. Big earners moved on. It's a new team which has been built, apart from the front two of Dembele and McCormack, who were at the club previous. Of course, when you build a new team, it takes time to gel, but Kit Simons believes he has the right balance now, the right tools to get Fulham into the top 6 this season.
It has to be their aspiration, doesn't it? And you looked at the sheer quality of their performance the other Friday against Queen's Park Rangers, and you thought this is a team that if they can keep that kind of level of performance up, they're going to fly up the league. But lo and behold, a few days later, all falls flat.
McElhaney has found Goodmanson. Another good passage of play from Charlton Athletic, and the Herne Grant just had it taken away from him as he was about to pull the trigger.
Yeah, Ryan Tunnicliffe did well hit there.
Dembele charging after this. Pope out of his goal. Bauer takes charge of it.
I think that is a really good decision by Patrick Bauer, the central defender. Didn't leave anything to chance. It looked for a second as if there was going to be a little bit of confusion between him and Nick Pope in the goal.
This now is Pringle. Dembele. There's Tunnicliffe. Stearman will be hunted down here by Watt. Jamie O'Hara looking to pick out Ben Pringle. Has found Pringle, who had to stretch and ultimately lost out. There's Goodmanson. Herne Grant moving forward on the far side. Here he goes. McElhaney trying to get there with him. Likewise Watt, and eventually just run out of steam as Fulham got men back.
Well, Richard Stearman spoke about the experience that he brings to that Fulham back line. Outstanding defending. Wasn't going to let Herne Grant come inside. Good tackle. Spring the offside trap. Again, Charlton, good movement, good running, but Stearman at cross knows that he's not going to let him inside and makes the challenge. It's really good defending.
He's had a really good, consistent couple of years, Richard Stearman. Albeit wearing the shirt of a different club. His husband, who got forward to great effect in the opening stages here.
I think the really good news for Charlton Athletic is they've managed to stop Ross McCormack seeing very much of the ball at all.
O'Hara. Tunnicliffe. Jamie O'Hara. There's Richards. Jazz Richards! And Pope came on with the answer. Now it's Husband. Pringle. Dealt with by Cousins. First real bit of action for the Charlton Athletic goalkeeper. And he managed to pass the test. There goes Cousins. Now Tony Watt. Chance here! And it flashes just over the crossbar. From a McElhaney taking aim, couldn't quite hit the target.
Well, two really good strikes we've seen. This is the last one. Good effort, really good strike. But prior to that, Jazz Richards cuts in on the left. That's curling and swerving and moving. And Nick Pope in the goal, watches it all the way and claws it away. Good play all round.
Played a big part in Bury's promotion during a loan spell there last season, Nick Pope. Massive presence with York City as well the season before when he was on loan there as they made the playoffs. There's Richards. It's O'Hara again. And Pope down to it. And got away with it.
Yeah, he did get away with it. He's a lucky boy, Nick Pope, this time for how good his previous save was. This is very fortunate. Jamie O'Hara, no real backlift. It's dipping and it's bouncing and it squirms through Nick Pope. But fortunately for Charlton Athletic, ends up going wide. Lucky boy.
Green was the target there. Cousins took charge for Charlton. Guy Luzon will be glad to see that, particularly after what happened at Cardiff City last week when, as I mentioned earlier, they lost almost every aerial duel.
Stands still, does he? On the sideline, kicks every ball, constantly organising his team.
Fulham looking to try and bring more trouble to his door, but there's Tony Watt for Charlton, leading the charge forward. Not enough on it though to find a Herne Grant. Charlton, Tony Watt had a really good start to this season. Struggled a bit since. Swung in by Richards. McCormack finding Richards. Too much on that for Pringle. And you mentioned before, Don, about Fulham have not really been able to get the ball to Ross McCormack, and the fear for Kit Simons in that situation is that Ross McCormack may drop a little bit deeper to try and get involved. He wants him to stay as high up the pitch as possible and trust his teammates to get the ball to him.
Yeah, he's a standout player, isn't he, really? One of the best players in the Championship, there's no question for me, Ross McCormack. Having all that ability, when you're not seeing too much of the ball, it can get frustrating.
Grant His eyes lit up for a second, but then he saw Richards gobbling up the ground in front of him. There's Ream. Diarra. Tunnicliffe putting himself around. There's Christensen, another who hasn't really seen too much of the ball so far.
Nor Dembele, so the three of them. Christensen, McCormack, Dembele. Barely seen the ball in this opening half an hour. That needs to change for Fulham.
Steeman. Jamie O'Hara. O'Hara picking out Husband. There's Pringle. Fighting by Pringle and held by Pope.
Should have released that, Nick Pope. Michelini wanted it, was willing. Crowd were trying to urge him.
Miles across London separates these two clubs. Fulham on the banks of the Thames, Charlton deep in southeast London. Derby Day in London and Derby Day on Merseyside later. The build-up underway now. Everton against Liverpool. Super Sunday, Sky Sports 1. And later, Arsenal against Manchester United, 3:30, Sky Sports 1. Lovely ball to pick out Christensen. There's McCormack. Diarra deals with that. Jamie O'Hara. Now Tunnicliffe.
It really has been like a pendulum this first half. Fulham starting well, Charlton then getting into the game and looking more of a danger. Fulham now just seem to be enjoying more of the ball and looking more of a threat. I'd be very surprised if Ross McCormack doesn't have a shot here. Seen him over the years, haven't we? Find the back of the net in this kind of situation.
One of the most influential players in the Championship. About to take aim here. Ross McCormack, spilled by Pope, Tunnicliffe. Fulham have walked on the Charlton soil and have taken control of this part of South London. The spill by Pope, and Tunnicliffe was there to pick up the pieces.
Charlton players trying to console the goalkeeper. He knows he doesn't need anybody to tell him. Should be dealing with this. It is powerful, but it's straight at him, but it dips into the turf and skips up. He'll still expect to gather that ball, but how often do you see it? Who's first on the scene when a goalkeeper spills the ball? It's usually an attacking player, and Tunnicliffe is the beneficiary of being on his toes and a goalkeeping mistake.
A desperate moment for Nick Pope, but a moment to remember for Ryan Tunnicliffe, his first goal for the club. Pope was also guilty of a spill here earlier this season against Hull City when they profited from that. This time it's Fulham who cash in.
Well, he got away with that one, a fracture, 10 minutes ago, didn't he? Which, from Jamie O'Hara's strike, wasn't dealt with decisively by the goalkeeper, but he got away with that one. He certainly didn't get away with spilling that Ross McCormack free kick.
As Bauer. Conor McCallaney. Ronigan firmly behind that.
Once again, it's a nearly moment, isn't it? It's good football. Driving inside, picking out McCallaney. Doesn't get anywhere near the power or the accuracy required.
Here's Jamie O'Hara.
Well, he's running the show. You know, Jamie O'Hara, he's got his mojo back, hasn't he? Really is playing well at the moment.
Well,
real grip of this game he has.
He called Kit Symons in the summer, asking for a trial. Said he would do it for free. Obviously, his trials are worked his socks off for no money in the summer. He actually came in on Strongman Week, which, as you can tell by the name of it, is the toughest week in pre-season. Proved his fitness. Kit Symons has always been a fan of his, and he got his contract.
Well, everything is going through him for Fulham. Passing been really accurate. Forward thinking, switching the play on a regular basis and having a huge influence on this match.
Pringle. There's McCormack. Now Moussa Dembele. It's Dembele into an area where there was no yellow Fulham shirt.
First time really that McCormack and Dembele have linked up. Charlton really do have to stand strong here. They really can't afford to concede another one.
Those from West London making the noise inside this old stadium in South London. Those Fulham fans hoping for a second here. As Richard Stearman and Tim Ream both make their way forward. Swung in by McCormack. Awkward one for Cousins to try and deal with. Stearman was in the mix there.
And since he's made a mistake now, hasn't he, Nick Pope? He was in two minds. Should I come for that? As it was hanging in the air, he made a decision not to. I think it was the right decision. You can see every decision he makes now is that extra little bit of pressure on the young man.
Jamie O'Hara, another pass completed. There's Husband. Well, Alan Kirbishley's name will forever be linked with Charlton Athletic, but he's on the other side of the fence here today. He is consultant to the first team at Fulham, a job that Kit Symons was determined to give him, fought hard to get him. He will watch from up high and just offer his opinion to Kit Symons at half-time. They work in much the same way as Dougie Freeman and Lenny Lawrence at Nottingham Forest and Tony Pulis and Jerry Francis at West Bromwich Albion. Alan Kirbishley reckons we will see more of these kind of partnerships as young managers make their way in the game.
That would be good. That would be good. There's nothing quite like having that experience to call upon if necessary, if you're a young manager trying to make your way.
Goodmanson. There's Chris Solly. Goodmanson again, that's Bauer. Alaj Bar is offside.
Oh, might have been close. Goodmanson swings this in, and as that ball is played there, look, well, he's onside. He's well onside, a good yard onside, and that's a poor decision from the assistant. It's not like it was inches. And when it's not going your way, not quite going your way.
Cousins, O'Hara. Just a calm head in the chaos, Jamie O'Hara.
It looks to me like a man who's enjoying his football again. He went through a good long period where he looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he played that way. But he's back and he's enjoying it, and Fulham are benefiting from that.
There's Tony Watt. Watt has managed to hold off Richards, and Ahern Grant couldn't quite get to it.
Well, we'll see in a second whether this is just the pace of the cross that makes the chance go begging, or whether Ahern Grant is on his heels a little bit. Oh no, I think it's just the pace in Ahern Grant's defence. Tony Watt's trying to put the ball in that area, and it's just a fraction too hard, and the young striker cannot get a toe on the ball. Another nearly moment for Charlton.
There's Fox. Tony Watt did play under Guy Luzon at Stade Liège briefly before Luzon had his bags packed for him. Says he learnt more under him in those 5 weeks that Luzon was there with him than he did under any other manager. Fox. Goodmanson will keep this alive. There's Solly. Cousins looking for Barr. Cousins again. There's Dembele. Runners ahead of him. This is Christensen. McCormack to his right, trying to play it through, but the door was slammed shut.
Perfect counter-attack. Good play from Dembele. Held the ball, it brought runners into play. Didn't take advantage of that, Fulham.
A few anxious cries now coming from the valley.
Chris Solly, the right back, the captain, he didn't have a pass on forward. There's no movement ahead of him. Everything was static. The crowd just getting a little bit frustrated.
Charlton Athletic have lost their last 4 games. They had a great start to life this season in the Championship, but they've faded away. They've nosedived towards the bottom of the Championship table, and they're behind here. As well as the wins against Queen's Park Rangers and Hull, they picked up points against Forest and Derby. Alou Diarra. Goodmanson. El Ajbar. Solly on the move. There's Pringle.
Fraction too quick, the referee, didn't he? Could have played an advantage for Charlton there, but they're quickly getting on with it.
Chris Solly. McElhaney looking to attack that and beaten to it by Stearman. Fulham will be desperate to keep a clean sheet here. It's a problem they've had an issue with going back to last season, defensive problems, which is why Ream and Stearman have been brought in. And Kit Simon sat down with them both on Friday and urged their partnership to really push on.
Different problems. These are the Charlton fans who are struggling to see their team score. Fulham fans have been struggling to see their team keep clean sheets, but so far so good for the away team. You cast your mind back, don't you? 27 seconds into the game, it could have been oh so different. Proved to be a really big moment in this game. Conor McElhaney's chance clean through. Massive opportunity missed.
box. Straight to Jamie O'Hara. Tunnicliffe. That challenge on McCormack.
Well, he gets the ball. Bar. It's just the follow-through, I think, as this ball is slightly miscontrolled. He gets the ball there, and well, I think that's harsh in the extreme, really.
What it does do is give Fulham another opportunity from a long way out. O'Hara this time takes charge of it. Pringle. Goodmanson. There's Solly. This goes Ream. We will have one additional minute at the end of this first half, and Dembele's after this, but the flag goes up.
Another tight one.
He's making a name for himself wearing that Fulham shirt, Moussa Dembele, signed from Paris Saint-Germain as a 16-year-old. Simons believes if Moussa Dembele can finish a bit more, works on his finishing, can be more clinical, then they will have a top-class player on their hands. Fulham in front at the break. Ryan Tunnicliffe pouncing after a spill from Charlton keeper Nick Pope, who found Ross McCormack's free kick too hot to handle, and Tunnicliffe was there to pounce and put Fulham in front. That after Charlton had a wonderful chance 27 seconds in when Conor McAleny fired wide. Work to do for Guy Luzon. Half-time, Charlton 0, Fulham 1.
And that missed opportunity in many ways sums up Charlton's season so far. Coming into yesterday's games, only 3 teams have scored less goals than them in the Championship. We'll hear from Rob Lee when we come back. But for Fulham and Ryan Tunnicliffe, they're on target for their first win here since May 2003. Things looking good for Kit Simons thus far. Final game of the Championship weekend, and Ryan Tunnicliffe's first ever goal for Fulham is the difference between the two sides in this London derby. 5 attempts each, 4 on target for Fulham coming into this weekend. The best shooting accuracy of any side in the Championship. Possession-wise, there is nothing to split the two. Alongside me, Rob Lee for this one. And Rob, has there been much of a gulf between the two first half?
Yeah, I think so. I think possession-wise, I mean, I think Jamie O'Hara, I think he's run the game from start to finish. Charlton have to get somebody near him. I mean, if you give him that much time and space, he's going to cause problems. And his passing's been excellent, and everything's gone through him. So it's, I think at the moment there's a gulf between Charlton and Fulham.
But it could have been, as Gary and Don were saying, so different at half-time, because 27 seconds in, and we have this opportunity here for Conor McAleny. Sometimes we talk about players getting a chance too early, but he's got plenty of time to set himself and think about this one, hasn't he?
It's a fantastic run, and it's been a great start for Charlton, but just need a little bit more composure from him. Fulham plays such a high line. It's a great run. He's gone past Fulham defence, and he just needs to have a bit more composure and slot the ball in. And that's what Charlton needed, because they've done such a poor run. You know, lost the last 4 games. If they'd have got that first goal, it could have been a platform for them. But you know, when you miss it, and I know what it's like when you're playing. You think, oh, just missed a great chance there. We will get another one very quickly. But as I say, since then, I think Fulham have had the better chances, really.
And I guess a lot of the Charlton fans will be talking about Nick Pope and perhaps his lack of composure for the goal. But in the build-up to the eventual goal, initially he showed an awful lot of composure, didn't he?
He made a great save. I mean, this is Jazz Richards getting it, and he cuts in on his left foot. It's going in the top corner. Makes a terrific save. You know, doesn't make a meal of it. It's a great hand.
But then he gets away with one, doesn't he?
And then Jamie O'Hara again, when he gets the ball, it's not a great shot. Just manages to catch him on the elbow, and he pushed it wide. But he was very, very lucky. And this is the free kick where really he's got to either parry it away or ideally stop it. But
also the Charlton defenders have got to react quicker, haven't they?
Well, look, there's 2 Fulham players that could have been. Dembele could have put it in. Tunnicliffe puts it in. But you expect a little bit more help from your defenders. They're all very, very static. and they react quicker, and they deserve to be one up, I think.
And a real chance once again for Charlton, coming this time at the end of the half. Ahern Grant inches away from a powerful cross from Tony Watt. And was that the problem? It was just a little bit too much fizz on this.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to have seen him dive at it, you know, like full. He sort of goes half-hearted. I mean, it is very, very quick, but you just never know. If he actually goes to ground, he slides in, he might have a chance. I mean, it's a fantastic ball in, but there, I just think maybe if he just gets on his knees and gets it in, then it's a chance.
So you mentioned the influence of Jamie O'Hara in that first half. Guy Luzon does not want to go into this international break off the back of 5 defeats in a row all competitions. How then does he best avoid that? What needs to change from their perspective?
Well, I think one of the Charlton forwards, whether it's Watt, he has to drop down. Certainly when Fulham got the ball, I think he has to drop deep and just sit on O'Hara, because they want to play all the Stearman and the centre halves are just playing it to O'Hara, and he's starting everything off. They play a very high line, and as we saw in the first 27 seconds, you can get through it, but you have to make runs from deep. But I just think, you know, O'Hara don't want to run the other way. Yeah. You know, he wants to get the ball, he wants to play, which he's doing very, very well. But I think if you push somebody on who's got legs, so the minute that Charlton win the ball, they break off him. I think that would be their best opportunity. And that is one of the conundrums that Guy Luzon at half-time has to fix, just how to deal with Jamie O'Hara, the influence he's having on the game. They don't want to go into this international break off the back of 5 defeats in a row. The Kit Simons is looking like they could be on course for a second London Derby win in 9 days. European Tour Golf this Thursday. Day 1 gets underway. The British Masters, supported by Sky Sports. We're underway 9 a.m. available across the Sky Sports platforms on Sky Sports 1 and also 4. If you want to spice things up, available on Sky 1 as well. And it's one goal that divides the two sides here at the Valley. This free kick from Fulham's Ross McCormack, spilled by Nick Pope. It was Fulham who reacted quickest, and in particular Ryan Tunnicliffe, his first goal for the club. And could that be putting Fulham on their road to their first win here since May 2003? Looks like both teams are coming out unchanged for the second half. Let's rejoin Don Goodman and Gary Weaver.
Thank you, Simon. Well, Premier League football may just be distant memories now for Fulham, but the aim is to get back there in the summer. The club has backed their manager. He's got the players he wanted. Now he has to deliver. Top 6 is the minimum aim. They will take the playoffs if they have to go through them. But the hope is automatic. But that will be some scrap at the top of the championship. Fulham leading here by a 1-0 at the break, thanks to a strike from Ryan Tunnicliffe, his first for the club. Half-time team talk delivered by Kit Simons. He's hoping to be walking back up that tunnel into the dressing room with 3 big points for Fulham. Charlton showed glimmers in that first half of what they could do. Times when they've passed the ball around neatly. Sandy Lonergan in the goal hasn't really been extended, apart from when he had his heart in his mouth after 27 seconds when Conor McAleny fired wide.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that Charlton Athletic have missed a big striker. Simon Makianok is a fantastic outlet for this team, a big physical presence. And they haven't had that up front.
There's Christensen. He's done well, Christensen. And the ball stolen back, and Pope deals with that. And Charlton Athletic labouring to clear. Fulham will have a corner.
Your heart is in your mouth if you're a Charlton fan. Again, they dwell on the ball there. You just simply cannot take that risk. Get robbed. It's a strike. Nick Pope parries it. It's a powerful one. He can't get it away from the danger area, and well, Charlton are very lucky that they're able to scramble that away. It takes a deflection in the goalkeeper's defence when they get away with one there, Charlton.
Tunnicliffe going close to a second. There's a foul in there by Stearman.
They need to do something here, Charlton, just to get the crowd back up, get the intensity up. There have been periods in this game where they've just got themselves on top a little bit. The crowd have been right behind them, but there have also been large parts of this game Well, it's been a little bit flat and the tempo's dropped. Guy Luzon, I'm sure, half-time, must have been telling his team, pick that tempo up, get on the front foot.
Here's Solly. Now Bauer. Came through the youth system at Stuttgart, Patrick Bauer. This is Tony Watt. Again, Stearman dragged out to a wide position. Watt standing his ground and linking up with McElhaney. And seen off by Richards. He wants to foul, but he's not getting what he's looking for. Alou Diarra. As Jamie O'Hara ran the show for Fulham in the first half, and he's picked up in the same manner.
It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And a forward pass to set them away again.
Tunnicliffe away from Cousins. Fired in by McCormack. No real power behind it.
Another game has passed by for Charlton Athletic. Well, they haven't scored in the first half. That's 1 goal in 10 first halves in the Championship. That has to change, or it's going to be a long, hard winter for this club.
Well, they once again were tipped for relegation at the start of this season. They do have a low budget here. It was the 3rd lowest in the Championship last season. It has increased, but it is still one of the lowest in this division. Roland Duchâtelet, who did sell Stade Liège in the summer, is of the opinion that he doesn't particularly like to strengthen others by giving them his cash.
Reserve judgment on that, shall we?
Dembele the target. Wins the flick on and finds McCormack. Here's Ben Pringle. Now Husband. Ream.
Got to do better than that, Tony Watt. You know, he's got to make life much more difficult for Tim Ream. Very easy at the moment for the two Fulham central defenders.
Jamie O'Hara. Another perfect ball. There's Christensen. Now Richards. International break coming up. It could be some international break for Jazz Richards and Wales. That's Bauer in the way. Christensen coming to the attention of the referee and receiving a yellow card from James Linnington.
Well, I would dare to suggest it's worth him taking one for the team here, because Ahern Grant was away. He had support on the other side of the pitch. So Christensen pulls him back, takes a yellow card.
There's Diarra. Goodmanson spinning away from Husband. This is Ahern Grant. That's Ream for company. Now Al Ajbar. Fired into Goodmanson. Did score in this fixture back in April in a 1-1 draw, Goodmanson. Charlton Athletic needs similar now. This is Bauer. McElhaney. Barr. Pringle will get to that. McCormack. There's Ben Pringle. McCormack's continued his run through the middle. Charlton with plenty back now. Husband. Dembele leaves it. This is Christensen. And now Jamie O'Hara. Well, he did want the ball earlier from Christensen.
Oh, there were several passes too many for Fulham there. This break after they intercepted that pass should have been more decisive, but way too many passes, and in the end it's rolled back to Jamie O'Hara. He's under pressure, he's leaning back. Chance is gone.
Could have signed for Fulham a couple of times, Jamie O'Hara. Roy Hodgson made a bid for him back in 2008. Ended last season on a short-term deal at Blackpool. And finished as their player of the season. He is certainly back on track. This is McElhaney. Now it's Goodmanson. Goodmanson's delivery and just over the head of Tony Watt.
Well, any kind of contact. Charlton a level. Better play, more decisive. One touch out of his feet there. Whipped in, beautiful ball, and wow. It doesn't look like it's too high for Tony Watt. It looks like he just mistimes it. I think he should have been getting his head on that. I think they should be level.
He's had to answer plenty of questions since that big night in that Celtic shirt when he was the talk of Europe by bringing down Barcelona. Negativity seems to have followed him around in his career since that night. He's only 21. Had a spell on loan in Belgium with Liège, plus the permanent move to Stade Liège. Started this season really well, Tony Watt. That's Conor McElhaney. Corner for Charlton.
Well, better few minutes for Charlton. McElhaney seen plenty of the ball, Goodmanson seeing plenty of the ball, and when those two see the ball, they just look so much more of a threat.
Goodmanson standing over this. This is Watt. It's Tony Watt, and Stearman stands his ground. Watt again, appeals for handball, not given. Another big block in there, this time from Tunnicliffe.
Well, Fulham going mad at the referee, James Linnington. It is handball. The pressure should be off, but it's not. This ball, there's a good block in here. It bounces back to Tony Watt there. He puts his arm out. That's handball.
Watt with the unfortunate slip. And Fulham looking to break cover here. It's Ross McCormack. Christensen, the furthest man forward, unable to pick out Dembele.
Oh, why is he playing that first time? He's got all the time in the world to take a touch. Fear, actually, if Fulham are getting so many opportunities on the counter.
This is Barr, and that was Lonergan. Now it's Goodmanson. Charlton banging on the Fulham door here. McElhaney, Cousins, Morgan Fox. Ream takes charge this time. It's Goodmanson again. Now Solly. Tony Watt.
Well, it's much better from Charlton. It's not particularly that attempt. It's this one. Probably wrong man ends up through on goal. He's onside, you can see, but you never really got that feeling that he believed that he was going to score. Not his forte. Hits it straight at the goalkeeper when he should have been doing better. Chances are racking up. That's 3 glorious opportunities now that Charlton have missed.
Fulham had to withstand a second half barrage from Blackburn Rovers a couple of weeks ago at Craven Cottage. Just having to weather a little bit of a storm here from Charlton.
Well, they just got a little bit complacent, didn't they? That touch from Christensen that actually set that Charlton counter-attack up was very complacent.
O'Hara, Dembele. This is Ross McCormack. Moussa Dembele!
A decent effort, knew very quickly after assessing the situation what he wanted to try and do as he receives the ball from McCormack. He's trying to whip his foot round it, bend it in the far corner. He's not that far away. It's good awareness from the talented young striker.
Well, they believe they will have a better chance of holding on to Dembele than they did of Patrick Roberts, who went to Manchester City, simply because Dembele is playing regularly, and Kit Symons couldn't really promise that to Patrick Roberts at the time. But big clubs are looking at Moussa Dembele. Tunnicliffe. McCormack's there for the pullback. This is Ross McCormack! Clinical! He has had championship defences on red alert for years, and he leaves his calling card at the Valley.
Well, that just highlights the difference, doesn't it? You've got the haves and the have-nots. There is not a player in that Charlton team that can do what Ross McCormack has just done, pure and simple. Because when he receives this pass from Ryan Tunnicliffe, he's got an awful lot to do. The touch, but then there's a feint and a shimmy to shoot. That throws the Charlton defenders, and then there is an absolute ruthless finish across the goalkeeper into the far corner. I remind all the viewers at home, that is his weaker foot, but he is deadly. And Fulham, you should imagine, have got this game wrapped up now.
Landmark moment for him. And he just doesn't seem to leave Charlton Athletic alone. 8 goals in 8 games against them.
And that's nowhere near as good a chance as the 3 that Charlton have had. It's a half chance at best. And that's the difference. Absolutely ruthless.
Fulham are taking off Ben Pringle, and they are bringing on one of their loanees, Luke Garbett, who, like Conor McAleny for Charlton, is on loan from Everton. Most notably has played his football at left back, but no stranger to that position where he's gone into here on the left-hand side of midfield.
It's a real shame, isn't it, for Charlton? Had the opportunities, and they were in the middle of a spell where they were just maybe getting on top in this second half. Quick counter-attack. It's a massive uphill task facing the home team now.
Fulham firmly in charge here. Another London derby going to plan for Kit Symons. You just wonder now with that goal after Charlton's really good spell whether the heart will have been ripped out of them, particularly with the current run they're on.
Football is about habits. Winning is a habit. Losing is a habit. And it's a habit that Charlton are in, and it's one that they need to break free of very soon.
Solly. There's Cousins. Hold on to this, and Fulham will be looking up towards those playoff positions. Top 6 is the aim. There's McAleny. Now Tunnicliffe. Ross McCormack. finish we saw from Ross McCormack, Don, is the reason why Kit Simons wants him to stay further up the pitch, not to drop deep and try and link play. He wants him in and around the penalty area.
It's magical. There was a lovely little shimmy and a feint to shoot that sold a Charlton defender the dummy and gave him that gap. Only a small gap, mind, in the far corner, but he found it.
O'Hara, Richards, Christensen, Ross McCormack, seen off that time by Alou Diarra, but it was all too easy for Christensen.
Worrying signs for Charlton at the moment. I wonder, they might have been behind 3 times. They've not managed to come back and win any of those, but Christensen just waltzes in, sets McCormack up. Fortunately, Alou Diarra is alert to the danger, gets a good block.
Grant. That chance didn't in the first half, just couldn't quite reach it. Towards the end of that first 45, off the good work by Tony Watt. Solly. There's Goodmanson. Johan Berg Goodmanson. And Fulham with plenty of bodies in the way. The challenge there by Goodmanson, and the referee right on the scene to dish out a yellow card to the Icelandic midfielder.
I think this is a type of challenge born of frustration. Launches in. And luckily, it's the follow-through that catches his foot rather than any standing leg, because that could have been nasty.
And these two met in October last year in West London. It was the night Kit Simons handed in his CV for the job. 3-0 win. Got the job permanently 5 days later. Things going to plan again for him and Fulham. Zachariah Berdych is on for Charlton to replace Morgan Fox. Like for like change. So as it stands, Charlton's poor run will continue. Their backs are against the wall right now. They have to come up fighting. McCormack. There's Tunnicliffe. Richards. Looking for Christensen.
Well, I'm looking out there, I'm looking at some of the body language of some of the Charlton players, and I'm wondering, do they truly believe that they can pull this round? And I'm not so sure that some of them do. And that spells danger.
Charlton's plan, albeit a long-term plan, is to get back into the Premier League themselves. Doing it maybe a different kind of way to Fulham. Bringing players in with what they hope will be sell-on value. The owner has invested £21 million since his takeover, as Ahern Grant is caught offside. Invested £12 million in their training facilities as well. This club famed for its academy.
And he spins in, and he is fractions. It's a good decision from the assistant.
Dembele. Tunnicliffe. McCormack. Sent crashing into the advertising hoardings.
Well, fortunately, this could have been nasty, couldn't it? Makes the challenge. Sends McCormack bashing into the advertising hoardings.
Hoardings coming off worse.
Absolutely.
Potent left foot of Luke Garbutt standing over this. Near the targets. He has to hit here. Goes in low though. Not quite a potent left foot there from Garbutt.
I'm saying nothing. He's lucky they're 2-0 up, eh?
Well, this is a man who had to face plenty of stick during a 1-1 draw against Huddersfield earlier this season. Some fans calling for his head. Learning on the job, Kit Symons, a year in to his first managerial role. So far, a good day for his Fulham team.
Well, if his team hang on to this lead, then that would make it 4 wins from 6. And that's decent by anybody's standards.
Tony Watt. Solly picks off Garbutt.
Oh, can they benefit from a set piece? They need something. They need something quickly, Charlton, before this game just peters out and drifts away from them.
Gudmundsson with it. Big claim from the goalkeeper. Big shout. Richards. There's Christensen. Remember Fulham doing this today without the influential Tom Kearney, the first of a 3-game ban for him after his red card against Wolves on Tuesday. Challenge for which he was hugely apologetic for after the match. He's not particularly built to tackle, Tom Kearney, which is why Kit Symons likes to play him out wide.
Well, every now and again, anybody is capable of having a real rush of blood to the head, and he certainly had one of those on the night, Tom Kearney.
Well, this could have been so much different for Charlton Athletic. Conor McAleny had an opportunity 27 seconds in, but didn't take it. His game is over. And on comes Frank Musa. O'Hara. There's Ream.
Well, Kit Symons will have an eagle eye now on how his team manage this situation, this game management, just to make sure that you see the job through without any undue concern.
Moussa Dembele just behind Garbutt. Musa losing out. This is Ross McCormack. Nicely done by Dembele. Christensen driving a Charlton Athletic. It's Luke Garbutt.
It's very, very comfortable at the moment, isn't it, for Fulham? And really, if anybody's going to get another goal in this game, it looks more likely to be the away side. Christensen drives, there's good movement ahead of him, he goes inside, and as it falls to Luke Garbutt, never really looks comfortable on his weaker right foot, and that's a bit wild.
Here's the second youngest manager in the Championship, but he will be feeling the heat if it remains this way. Guy Luzon. He's always so focused on what his team can do. If you ever ask him about opponents, he will just immediately start talking about his side. There were claims in Belgium that he used to do very little work on the opposition, was always focused on his team's own strengths. That was the claim in Belgium. There's Luke Garbutt again. Jamie O'Hara. No dish, unable to keep up with his header. "17 minutes to play, and Fulham fans hungry for more here.
It's been a difficult day so far for Guy Luzon. So his team struggle again in front of goal. There's no sign that they can turn this game around.
Garbutt's corner, just over the head of Stearman. Another change being made by Fulham. On comes Cauley Woodrow, and he will replace Moussa Dembele. More game time for him today, adding to his education. And on comes Woodrow to take his place in the Fulham attack.
Really disappointed he hasn't got a goal this afternoon. Chances haven't particularly fallen his way. Talented boy, though.
Woodrow. Strengthen Woodrow, and this is Jamie O'Hara. Always fancy his chances on his left foot. Now McCormack. O'Hara for once gives the ball away. Moussa. One goal could change everything here for Charlton. Cousins. Tony Watt. Barr.
Again, they work it in well into an area, and then it's not a difficult pass, it's just overhit and not accurate, and the chance has gone again.
More football to come on Sky Sports. Derby day on Merseyside. Everton against Liverpool. Now on Sky Sports 1. And a huge game at the Emirates. Arsenal against Manchester United. 3:30 Sky Sports 1. As Manchester United look to go back to the top of the Barclays Premier League. Diarra climbing high. There's Richards. Fulham without an away clean sheet so far this season. Charlton have scored in every home game they played so far this campaign, despite struggling in front of goal mainly.
We've got to cling on. Fulham, like Charlton actually, are the kind of team, they do concede a lot of goals in the last 15 minutes of games, so you never know.
Gudmundsson. There's Bergdick. McCormack. O'Hara. Now it's Husband. Fulham in no particular rush here. No need to rush either. The game, the points in the palm of their hand right now. There's McCormack. Now they quicken things up. And Pope's off his line.
Yeah, like I said, if anybody's going to score another goal at the moment, worryingly for Charlton, it looks like it won't be them. Kit Simons will be pleased. His team really are managing the back end of this game, not allowing Charlton to really hurt them.
Gudmundsson trying to bring that ball under his spell. There's Musa. There's Tony Watt. It's Watt. Blocked by Stearman. Now it's Cousins. This is Gudmundsson. Charlton looking for that one sign of hope here. It's Musa. Clearance goes straight to Solly. Charlton Athletic looking to stir here, looking to try and cause Fulham a problem or two to give them something to think about. Solly wraps his foot around the ball. Ream takes charge for Fulham. Now it's Gudmundsson. Well, it had to be dealt with in the end by Lonergan.
Gudmundsson's getting on the ball, he's playing more central, and he's the one spraying the ball out to those wide areas. The cross comes in, takes a deflection.
Off goes El Ajbar. Along comes the experienced Johnny Jackson. Much loved around these parts. And a big injury at the back end of last season. Jackson back in business here as Charlton look for something to try and give them hope. Jackson was in the middle here. Well, how about that for an impact? Off the bench, amongst the goals. Charlton Athletic have hope. How's that for a substitution?
Well, you just cannot write the script, can you? I mean, it's a great delivery, and he just times his run to perfection. Johnny Jackson meets it absolutely perfectly. It is a bullet header in off the underside of the bar. And we said about Fulham seeing this game out, well, they may have just made life a little more difficult by not picking up, not clearing the danger. Could be game on.
His first goal in a year. I wonder if Guy Luzon said, go and stand there, the ball will drop on your head and head it into the back of the net, Johnny, son. Give us a chance.
I felt that was the only way that they were going to score, didn't you? A set piece, and now the crowd are up. May have given the players a bit more self-belief.
Ahern Grant looking a little frustrated. He wanted a couple of runners ahead of him. There's Musa. Johnny Jackson. Bergdick. Now it's Cousins.
Well, again, Fulham have conceded a goal in the final 15 minutes of a game. They haven't, again, kept a clean sheet away from home. Those are the things that will frustrate Kit Simons.
Well, now there's a different feel around this place. There's Musa. Cousins. Goodmanson unable to keep the ball in play.
Oh, he walks in, ambles into the penalty area. He is being picked up by Tunnicliffe, who gets nowhere near him. Tunnicliffe, what an introduction. Great header, great desire. Had been missing for the last 15-20 minutes or so.
Single-handedly, he has restored hope to the Valley. It could be a nervy last 10 minutes here for Fulham. Well, he likes a bit of late drama, Guy Luzon. There's Ream. Stearman. Christensen will settle for the corner as Fulham look to flex their muscle again.
Well, they really are over-exaggerating the time wasting. I'm sure the referee's just having a word now with Luke Garbutt. James Linnington won't be kidded, he'll just add it all on at the end. Need to be more subtle than Fulham are being right now.
Fulham committing 3 men forward inside the Charlton penalty area, but it's straight into the hands of Nick Pope, who will immediately release it and look for Goodmanson here. Ream gets to it for Fulham and takes no chances. There's Tunnicliffe. Now Alou Diarra. There's Musa. Easily away from Christensen. It's a spring in the step now at Charlton Athletic. Johnny Jackson. It's Husband's header. And he put his team in a spot above it. Cousins couldn't cash in, but Charlton corner.
Well, this is really good defending from Richard Stearman. He knew Cousins was coming in. He knew he was going to get clattered. In fact, it wasn't. It was Jamie O'Hara, actually. Good tracking of his midfielder.
Those fans on that sofa here at the Valley, now on the edge of their seats. The referee with a little bit of sorting out to do, involving Tim Ream and Alou Diarra. Bow rises this time beyond him, and Musa got his head to it.
Well, he can't do anything with it, really. He's under pressure. Once again, it's Jamie O'Hara who puts Musa under pressure. He's been outstanding, the Fulham midfielder. But Fulham really are not being subtle with their time-wasting tactics.
Andy Lonergan told to get a move on by the referee, James Linnington. That's Goodmanson. What with the header? Ahern gives chase. Stearman defends well. Charlton Athletic are a team who love a late goal. They've got around about 3.5 minutes plus additional time to find one here. This is Tony Watt. Solly. Solly penned in by Garbutt, but he's managed to dig that cross out superbly. Johnny Jackson. Steaming away. Cousins. Cousins to Tony Watt, who's spun away from husband. It's Tony Watt. And Richards will complete the clearance.
Counter.
It's McCormack. Woodrow to his left. Fulham looking to kill the game here. Corley Woodrow. Pope gets down to it. And Bauer hesitated, but eventually took charge.
Oh, end to end. I'm sure Kit Simons doesn't like it, really. Spread out.
Here's for another twist in this London derby. It's a hand grant. Great defending by Jazz Richards, who followed him every step of the way.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful defending, because it's clever movement. And look at the right back, tucks round on the cover, bails his centre halves out, gets a little block on that shot.
The force is with Charlton Athletic right now. Goodmanson. Again, Fulham first to the ball. Now it's Jamie O'Hara. They just need his steadier influence just to calm things down, Fulham. Here he is. Again, so composed on the ball, Jamie O'Hara. This is Christensen. Woodrow's there for the pullback. Woodrow! Almost finished Charlton off.
Got the consolation of a corner. Again, the counter-attack is excellent. It takes a little deflection, doesn't it, off Johnny Jackson, and goes agonisingly wide for Fulham. At least they're at the right end of the pitch, and they run the clock down a little bit more and making a substitution.
Sakari Matilla coming on for Fulham, and off goes Jamie O'Hara, who's been exceptional here today.
I'm going to be interested to see how much added time referee James Linnington allows. Really aware Fulham have been over-exaggerating how long it takes them to get the ball back in play.
We are about to find out how much additional time we will have. All eyes on that man. There's the answer.
Well, you saw the fans in the background go, no, they wanted more. They thought they deserved more.
4 additional minutes. Diarra held off by Woodrow. Fulham looking to hold on to this win, which will take them within sight of the playoff places. Points-wise, they'll still be mid-table, but not far behind the race for those playoff places. Musa, another good challenge by Richards. Not sure if he can see through that. Watching on.
He didn't want to see some of it. He'll want to see if this goes in.
Diarra's in the middle, went beyond him, and Jackson got his head to it again. And on the spin, the hand grant couldn't keep it down.
Never really looked set to keep this down and on target. Spins off his man, it's bouncing, it's awkward, he's under pressure.
More frustration there with the Charlton boss and the fans. Lonergan, to be fair, couldn't quite get to the ball as it was launched back at him. But understandably, he's taking his time here for Fulham, because they are within inside of 3 points. They do have armchair fans here at Charlton Athletic. Unique idea with the couch in the corner. They weren't sitting comfortably for most of it. Grant seen off in the end. by the endeavour of Christensen, but maybe there's still time here for Charlton. It's Solly.
Bauer, the big centre-half's gone forward.
Aimed towards him. Again, taking charge of the situation and getting his team off the hook was Jazz Richards.
Yeah, it's an honest attempt to get the ball. He's desperate for Charlton, he launches himself. And then there's a clash of heads. Very brave and good defending by Jazz Richards. Nasty collision of the heads.
Well, Richards injured at the end, but he's made two big challenges in the last few minutes. The Fulham right back.
Some big games coming their way. Reading away. Reading are up to third, then Preston and Brentford here. Two teams down the bottom have to take advantage of that. And it doesn't get any easier for Fulham. Kit Simon's team, they will know in 6 games they play 4 of the top 6 in the next 6 games, so he's going to give his team a test and he'll know a lot more about them after that little run of games.
So additional time is almost up. We will have an extra couple of minutes here.
Do the Basil Fawlty look.
Good job he's not on TV, isn't it?
It's common now, isn't it, in football, that they will bandage players' heads up. In the old days, used to go off and get stitches. I remember going off to get stitches and it was 0-0 and coming back on and we were 2-0 down at West Ham. 5 minutes. That was my influence.
I was going to say, you were missed that much. So Bauer bandaged and we'll be back on shortly. Richards without a bandage will join the fray too. And we will have an extra couple of minutes to additional time here. Alou Diarra. There's Garbett. McCormack getting involved as he stands. His clinical finish. Who will be the winning goal here? There's Solly. Tony Watt, Ahern Grant, Jackson in the middle, beyond Jackson, and it's headed home brilliantly by Jordan Cousins. Greenwich born, he steps up for his local club, and that is just what Charlton Athletic needed. The Valley rises to celebrate an equalising goal in this London derby.
Well, again, some of the best football that they've played in the entire game. He's onside at Ahern Grant. He puts a delicious ball into the area where Jordan Cousins is arriving right on cue. He's had a really good game. He throws himself at the ball, and just like Johnny Jackson's header, he meets it perfectly, powers it into the back of the net. There's nothing that Andy Lonergan can do.
Well, he may well be an Arsenal fan, but he's from this area, not too far away in Greenwich. He knows every inch of this club, and he will know just how important that goal could be for his club.
Massive boost for Charlton Athletic, but Kit Simons is going to be shaking his head. They were so very comfortable in this game. It was theirs, and they've thrown it all away, or have they?
Well, this is Tunnicliffe. Now it's Garbett. Cousins in the way, standing his ground, winning a free kick. Could be time for a winner here. This is Tony Watt. It's Watt. And how big a block could that be from Stearman?
Kit Simons must be pulling his hair out. He really must, because almost turned victory into the jaws of defeat here. Good ball, and what a saving tackle that is from Richard Stearman.
Fulham don't know what's hit them, and there could be more to come here. Breathless at the end of the Valley. This place produces late drama again. Guy Luzon's Charlton came back from 2 down. Cousins rescuing a point after Johnny Jackson had been sent onto the pitch, and within seconds have put Charlton Athletic back in the game. For Kit Simons of Fulham, they had this game, they had the points in the palm of their hand, but they blew it.
Well, absolutely did blow it. He will be thrilled, because I wasn't sure I was seeing the self-belief from Charlton Athletics players prior to Johnny Jackson's goal to believe that they could turn it around and get back on terms, but my word, 2 cracking headers, bit of spirit, bit of character, a leader thrown on the pitch, and they've earned a point out of absolutely nothing, and it could be precious.
Well, those moments there could just turn Charlton Athletics' season around. It's only a point, but a moral victory for them, coming back the way they did, because this game was gone.
Absolutely, it is a moral victory. It's a bit of a deflator for Fulham as we go into the international break. As I say, there are tougher tests to come Fulham's way, but Charlton will be absolutely thrilled.
Well, let's get some reaction from the Valley pitch. Let's join Jonathan Oakes.
Johnny, what a comeback. Just sum up your feelings after that.
Oh, unbelievable. Feels like a win. You know, for 75, 80 minutes, Fulham have outplayed us, really. Been by far the better team, I think. But, you know, football's a mad game. That last 10 minutes, incredible, completely dominated. We've nearly gone on and won it at the end, so it feels like a win. Obviously, disappointed with the first bit, but, you know, great comeback.
It's been a frustrating season for you personally so far, but to score with your first touch, what did the manager say to you?
Just said, go in the box and go and hit it. So that's what I've done. Yeah, it's been a tough time for me. I haven't been playing. I've had a few niggly injuries as well, so I've been dying just to get back on the pitch and, you know, to go on and score a winner. What a great feeling.
Jamie, did you feel you were in control of that?
Yeah, you know, but you got to put teams to bed. You know, we had some good chances in the second half to put them away. You know, and away from home, the fans got behind them. Johnny come on, scored straight away. So, you know, we're obviously gutted now not to get the 3 points away from home. I feel like we needed that, and it's a kick in the teeth.
What was the point that changed it in the game for you?
Johnny come on and scored with his first touch, you know. Didn't pick him up. You know, we've worked on it all week on set pieces, but, you know, obviously it's hard to get the information across. To pick him up when he's come on is a great header, so fair play to him.
To go into the international break now, you're going to find it tough not to dwell on this for 2 weeks.
Obviously it's disappointing, you know. Felt like we was in control of the game, we played well. You know, we was moving it around. You know, we looked like we can really put teams to the sword, but we've got to put our chances away, and you know, we could have been 3-4-0 up, and you know, obviously it's come back to bite us.
For Charlton, could this be a big turning point for you now?
We hope so. You know, we've been in a real slump of late. We've lost 5 out of the last 6. No, we haven't won, but the turnaround, you know, the stadium now, that's buzzing, and we need to take. It's a shame that we got a 2-week gap now, because we would like a game Tuesday, because we're on a high.
Thanks very much, John. If you do the honours, please. Jamie O'Hara is the Sky Bet man of the match.
Yeah, Jamie O'Hara quite brilliant in that game, but Fulham really did set the tempo, but as he said, it's been, in the end, an afternoon of frustration here at Charlton. They miss out on the chance of their first win here in 12 years. But what a story for Johnny Jackson, 14 seconds, and he scores with an absolute bullet header. There he is. And as he said, doesn't really want an international break now. Wants to crack on and see if they can follow up what was, in the end, a very, very good comeback. So it means Charlton up into 17th. They now sit just a couple of points clear of the relegation zone. For Fulham, they sit now in 13th on 12 points. They miss out on the chance on closing that gap on those playoff places to 4 points. They remain in the bottom half of the table. And by the way, you can see all the goals from the Football League on our FL 72 goal show. That is from 7:15 this evening on Sky Sports 5. It is a busy day of live football on Sky Sports, the small matter of the 225th Merseyside derby underway at Goodison Park. No score so far between Everton and Liverpool. That's over on Sky Sports 1. It's followed by another big rivalry. Arsenal against Manchester United. United the chance to return back to the top of the Premier League. 3:30 Sky Sports 1. Right now, Eredivisie action. Ajax against PSV Eindhoven. 1-1 in that game. That's on Sky Sports 3. And we have the Madrid derby. 7:25 this evening on Sky Sports 1. By the way, a big bit of breaking news from the Premier League at the moment. You get all the latest on this over on Sky Sports News HQ. Dick Advocaat did say yesterday, after that draw against West Ham, that he was considering his future. The news is he has left Sunderland, with them sitting second bottom in the Premier League. As I mentioned, all the reaction to that, Sky Sports News HQ throughout the afternoon and evening. We'll hear from Rob Lee when we come back. Fulham very much in the driving seat for much of this goal game through Tunnicliffe, and also a beauty from Ross McCormack. But what a comeback from Charlton, from Jackson and then Cousins. Two brilliant finishes, points shared at the Valley. We've had quite a London derby at the Valley this Sunday lunchtime. Ryan Tunnicliffe putting Kit Simon's Fulham side in the lead. This coming in the 33rd minute. Then a quite brilliant goal from Ross McCormack. 8-8 he got it into Charlton. 7-8 all competitions. Wonderful finish from him. And Fulham in the driving seat. But look at this. On comes Johnny Jackson. 14 seconds later, boom. He's got it back to 1-2. And Charlton won't finish with a comeback. Jordan Cousins with his first goal since the turn of the year. And it finishes 2-2. A thrilling finish here at the Valley. And that had the crowd absolutely pumped. This is the tail of the tape. Then 2-2 finishes. 18 attempts each. 7 on target from Charlton. 8 from Fulham, who came into this game with the best shooting accuracy in the whole of the Championship. And like it was at half-time, nothing to split the two sides in terms of possession. And Rob Lee, how will the two sides reflect on today's events?
I think up until 80 minutes, I thought Fulham were in control of the game. I thought they got 2-0 up, 2 great goals, controlling it, and it wasn't until Johnny Jackson come on and free header at the corner. From then on, it was just all Charlton. They could have gone on the one at the end. We saw that. I mean, I just don't know why they didn't start from the beginning like that. They looked a different team the last 10 minutes.
Well, let's hear how the Charlton manager, Guy Luzon, reflects then on today's events. He's alongside Jonathan Oakes.
Guy, was that a point your team thoroughly deserved in the end, do you think?
I think that we deserve more than 1 point. We deserve all the 3 points because we started the game very well. We had great chances to score and we missed. And for nothing, we conceded the first one. The second half also, we have a great occasion to score. 1 against 1 with Ba, 1 against 1. And again, counter-attack for the opponent, it went 2-0. And I think we respond well from the situation. It was not a difficult situation, you know, after our result in the past, to come back after 2-0, it's not easy. It shows a lot about the character in the team. And I'm happy that we respond well. We score 2 goals, and we had great chance to score the final one and to take all the 3 points, but it's football. I think we perform well. As I say, when we start the game, we need to play positive football on the ground, combination and create chances. And it's a part in the game we did it well, but we need to continue.
Did it take Johnny Jackson coming on to change the mood of the players and really make them believe that they could get something today?
You know, the first ability and for Johnny is his character and his leadership, and he's our captain. Unfortunately, he was injured a lot during the season, and he got the chance. He influenced about the result, he influenced about the game. He showed his character, he showed his quality, and he deserves to continue.
Do you think there was a period in the second half when it was 2-0 that perhaps the players who were out there maybe didn't believe that they were going to get back into it?
Yes. I felt also that during the second half, after the 2-0, we little bit lose our passion, we lose a little bit our desire to win. And Johnny, with his goal, bring us back to the game. It was very, very crucial goal and very crucial moment for this game. And we need to continue.
As you're going into an international break now, 2 weeks without a game, do you wish that wasn't the case, that you could have another one soon after this momentum?
First, it's good that we have this momentum because to go to an international break after another defeat, it's not easy, you know. But we need to take the good moment from this game to the next game, to continue to work hard and to believe. And because also now I believe that we have a good team, that every game come and play positive football. But we need to take it for the result.
Thank you, Guy. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Robbie mentions the desire, the passion that perhaps wasn't there in earlier parts of the game, but he definitely got it when Johnny Jackson comes on. An inspired substitution in the end. As we look back at this goal, it's really interesting. As he gets sent on by Guy Luzon, you can see as he runs across top left-hand corner of the screen, here he comes. He's telling everybody, hang around, wait.
Yeah.
I'm on this.
And you know, Fulham, he's very, very good in the air. I mean, he comes on. It's very dangerous time for Fulham to a substitute comes on. Johnny Jackson comes in. Not well picked up, but it's a great header. I mean, great connection, and gives the keeper no chance. But up until that point, as I said before, they weren't even in the game, didn't look like scoring. Then from this moment on, from that moment that goal went in, it was all Charlton.
Had Fulham not got themselves defensively prepared for his arrival?
No, yeah, I think when a sub comes on, you've always got your men you're going to mark at the team that are on the pitch at the time. Once a sub comes on, you think, well, who's picking him up? Someone tried to pick him up, but it was all too late. I mean, as I say, he's very, very good in the air. You got to pick the best players, the headers. You got to pick them up.
Had the whole pendulum then of the game changed after that goal? And when you look then at Jordan Cousins' equaliser, his first goal since January the 31st, they were really under the cosh, Fulham, weren't they? And you felt this was coming. The crowd could sense it. They're almost drawing the ball into the net.
Well, it's really, you know, Simon's probably say typical Fulham, 2-0 up and cruising, and then again they get in down the right. So it's a great cross. But as you can see at the top of the screen, someone's late getting back and picking up. No chance again. Another very, very good header. Jordan Cousins was probably Charlton's best player on the day, I would have thought. But up until the 81st minute, Kit Simons must be kicking himself because they were cruising at 2-0 cruising. And actually, they had probably chances where they should have shot, and they tried to walk the ball in, and they couldn't finish the game off. They couldn't kill them off, and all credit to Charlton. They came back, and at the end, they could have nicked it.
Yeah, Tony Watt with a massive opportunity. In truth, how big an opportunity was it?
I think it's a very, very good. I mean, this point, Fulham are rocking. He's in there. He's on his left foot. It's a very, very good block. But you just think if he takes a little bit better touch there, it's a good chance. It's a good block. But as I say, Fulham were rocking at the time.
And they came into this game, Charlton, with 9 goals scored. Only 3 teams ahead of the weekend's game, less goals than them in the Championship. Have they gone some way towards solving that problem today, or still cause for concern long term?
Well, I think it's cause for concern, really. I mean, Jordan Cousins, midfield player, came in and nicked one right at the death there. But they had their chances. We saw a very good chance over 27 seconds. I think if that goes in, maybe it's a different game. But Tony Watt maybe needs to get a goal. Your strikers need to be scoring goals. If you can get your strikers scoring 15, 20 goals, you've always got a chance.
And talking of chances, Kit Simons had a great opportunity today to make it 2 London derby wins in the space of 9 days. They couldn't hang on in the end. Let's hear from him now. He's alongside Jonathan Oakes.
Well, Kit, do you find yourself wondering how you've not won that?
100%. Second half, we were totally in control of the game, totally dominant, 2-0 up, cruising. Then started making poor decisions. Should have killed the game off. Had several opportunities to make it 3, which would have killed the game off. Didn't take them, started making poor decisions, gifted them a lifeline back into the game. Substitution, Johnny Jackson coming on, the crowd were cheering for him for about 20 minutes before that. He came on, seemed to inspire them, give them a lift. Poor from a set piece, allowing a free header. And then from across, we could have lost it in the end. The game we were totally in control of and should have won comfortably. So it's definitely 2 points lost today, and I'm not very happy.
I think the players lacked focus in those last 10 minutes, and why was that?
We've got to be a bit more streetwise. And I say we were totally in control of the game, totally dominant, and you've got to see out games. I said before the match, it might not be a tippy-tappy nice game of football. Find a way to win the game. And at 2-0 up, the way to win the game is just by doing the right things. And that went out the window for the last 10 minutes. We've been excellent second half up to then. I say totally dominant, totally in control. Should have killed the game off. Didn't, and that's always, in football, there's always the chance that might happen. It could come around and bite you, and that's what it did to us today.
With the Championship know-how and the experience you've brought into this squad over the summer, should you have enough to hold on to a lead like that?
Absolutely. It's what I said to the players. Our recruitment, our retention was all done with a purpose. We wanted the right people, the right characters. I've got them, but they've got to show it. And today, to throw away a 2-goal lead and being so comfortable in a game is criminal. And I say I've let the players know that, and they know that themselves. They're distraught in there, and rightly so. So they should be, because we've thrown away 2 points today, 2 valuable Championship points.
Do you find yourself wondering sometimes which Fulham side is going to turn up? It's unpredictable, isn't it?
Well, I know the people I've got, I know the characters I've got, and I'm pleased with that. But like I say, it's just a little bit of decision making, you know. I'll reiterate again, we were so in control of that game. To not see it out is inexplicable and you know, not acceptable.
Does it hurt even more that you've got 2 weeks to dwell on this now? What will be the priority over these next 2 weeks?
Well, I think we'll be doing a lot of work on stopping crosses, that's for sure. And listen, it'll be hard for the players, it'll be tough to take, you know, but we'll dust ourselves down and we'll go again, you know. It's a tough, honest, hard-fought league, so let's say I've got the right people here, but we just need to make better decisions than we did in that last 10 minutes today.
Thanks for joining us, Kit.
Cheers.
And I think we can safely say that is the most frustrating we've seen Kit Symons so far this season. Don Goodman, our co-commentator today, has joined myself and Rob. Let's pick up on that then, Don. You can see his frustration. Understandable. Did they simply throw it away, or are we doing Charlton a disservice?
No, I think they threw it away. I think, as Rob has said, as Kit has said, and as Guy Luzon will probably admit, I think Fulham were in total control up until 80 minutes. You make a substitution. Ryan Tunnicliffe is culpable here because it's his man. And Johnny Jackson just shows more desire. He's desperate to get on the end of it. And when he does get on the end of it, he meets it perfectly. And all of a sudden, from a 2-0, people often say, don't they, that 2-0 is a funny scoreline in football, because when you're the one that's 2-0 down and you get that goal, it gives you such a massive lift. And we saw that with Charlton, and they took advantage of that.
Well, you mentioned Ryan Tunnicliffe. It was he who opened the scoring for Fulham when we cast our minds back into the first half, Rob. And we were discussing this at half-time, because certainly first half, it was a somewhat mixed first half for Nick Pope in the Charlton goal, wasn't it?
It was. He made one terrific save before this, and then his defenders, as we said, don't help him out at all. As I say, Tunnicliffe puts it in. It could have been one or two people putting it in. It's a decent strike, but it's one the goalkeeper should be saving, really. And you know, that was where Fulham, I thought, started controlling the game.
And then we saw second half, Ross McCormack bringing up his 100th championship goal in his career so far. How decent a finish was it? We've come to expect this, but for people who don't see him regularly, this is some finish, isn't it?
I think he should be in the Premier League, playing in the Premier League. I don't know. Maybe it's his body shape or something. There is something put in.
Ian Holloway made that exact point last Friday. But
but the quality, look at this quality. It's there for all to see. The first touch, that shimmy is, it's just natural to have the ability to throw a defender off there. And then he strikes it into the far corner with his weaker left foot.
Yeah.
He's got everything going. He was frustrated at times there because he's such an intelligent footballer. He picks up areas on the pitch in between the defenders and the midfielders, and the opposition don't know really, should I go with him, should it be a midfielder, should it be a defender? He's an intelligent player, and Fulham are lucky to have him, but he'll be frustrated as anybody here this afternoon.
Let's just finish off talking about Charlton, Rob, your old club. What might this result do for their season, the manner in which they came back from looking like it was going to be a fifth straight defeat in all competitions?
Well, I thought Carlos would have been very worried after 79 minutes. I think the crowd were getting on him a little bit on the team. Didn't create many chances at all, and until, as you said, that header. It was that header that could change everything. I mean, last 10 minutes, they were a totally different team. They dominated Fulham, looked like they were going to score goals, had ample opportunities. Got two, could have had 3 or 4, but you think, well, why didn't they do it at the start? Why don't they do that right from the beginning and get at Fulham? Because we know Fulham are very erratic. They can beat somebody 4-0, they can lose 3-0. And I just think if they'd have got at them from the word go, they've had a better chance. But Fulham have got some good players, though. You know, I expect Fulham to be up there. I mean, they've got Scott Parker to come back, a young lad Dan Burn, who I really like. So they've got some youngsters as well coming through. I think they've got a very, very strong squad. You know, I sometimes be disappointed with the result at the end, but I still think they'll be up there.
Right, we've got a little bit of time to fill. Let's just reflect on what we've seen so far in this championship season. And Don, we always hear this great cliche from managers. They say, look, we wait till 10 games in before we start really having a look at the table and how it's shaping up. We're 10 games in. So let's have a look then at the top of the Sky Bet Championship, and what early conclusions should we be drawing?
Well, I think there are several teams up there that you probably would have expected. Your Middlesbroughs, your Hull Cities, your Burnleys, your Derby have crept up. But there are 1 or 2 surprises, which is nice. Chris Hughton's done a terrific job at Brighton. We've all been waiting for them, haven't they, to slip up and start sliding down the table. But they're not. They're there on merit. They're averaging more than that golden 2 points a game that almost guarantees you certainly automatic promotion. And he's got them really well organised. They're the you know, the star performer for me in the first 10 games of the season. Reading are another one.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Reading. Let's have a look at their game yesterday, because it featured one of the quickest goals you're ever likely to see. 15 seconds it took in this game. The club's third fastest goal ever. Danny Williams, the ball in from Hal Robson-Kanu in the end. Of course, he'll be looking forward to doing great things for Wales during this international break. But Don, we've seen them do things in the Championship before, so in some ways we shouldn't be surprised that they put a club like Middlesbrough to the sword. But when you base things on last season, were you in any way surprised by this result?
Absolutely, and that's all you've got to go on. I say, based on last season, yes, but we actually covered them and they thumped somebody 5-1.
Was that Ipswich?
I believe it was, another promotion contender at the Majeski. And that, along with Fulham's, was probably the best performance we've seen live on Sky Sports so far this season. So they've definitely they're onto something, Reading, this season. And I think the rest of the Championship will be mindful, because what they've done there is, for me, that I've said on record, I think anybody that finishes above Middlesbrough will be promoted. And they put them to the sword, and they've got the best defence in the league, Middlesbrough, and after 15 seconds, Reading have given themselves a wonderful platform from which to go on and win the game.
And Brighton remain above Middlesbrough as things stand, and they remain the only side in all four divisions of English football to still be unbeaten, but they had to do it the hard way. They had to come from behind. It was Joe Mason who got the scoring underway for the visitors, Cardiff, yesterday. And Rob, are they showing enough in these early 10 games to show that they've got long-term steel, that they can stay there in this tough league?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, going behind, everyone's expecting, as Don said, to fall down, but they go behind and they've got the resilience to come back and get themselves back in the game. And not actually, maybe last year they would have lost that game. They've picked up a point. You know, and the more points you pick up, the more time you spend not losing games, then you get on a little run, and that's what they've done. And they're there by merit. You know, after 10 games, that's normally tells you roughly, you know, where you should be.
And we've covered one of your old clubs here. Let's talk about one of your other old clubs, Derby County, because they're starting to put a decent run together. Yesterday up against Brentford, for whom it has been a difficult start to the season, of course, for them, losing their manager Darkhausen, and of course he's been replaced as well. The 2-0 winners in the end. Chris Martin opening in the scoring for them. Are things just beginning to come together for Derby County? Are you encouraged by what you've seen in recent games?
Yeah, I think it was all, you know, Steve McLaren leaving and Paul Clement, an unknown quantity really in England. You know, obviously great pedigree at Real Madrid, and you wonder, is he after the first few games, is he going to be able to? It's a totally different league, but I think now he's got his feet under the table. He's ironed out a few problems, and they're now creeping up the table, and again, they'll be there at the end, I'm sure of it.
Starting to put his mark on the side, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a big win for them yesterday. I mean, they were playing against a team that they were probably expected to be, but was that the first home win of the season yesterday? That's massive, isn't it? When you're getting 30,000 crowds every week, if you're not winning week after week, they needed that just to really cement that sort of resurgence that they've had over the last few games. And I'm with Rob. I think, you know, things are starting to take shape for them. It does take time to put your own stamp on a club when you walk into it as a new manager or coach, as we have to say these days, and things are looking pretty good for Derby.
Gentlemen, lovely to have a chat in the sunshine. Dom, Rob, thanks ever so much for your company this afternoon. Just to have a quick look at what is coming your way on Sky Sports. Super Sunday underway. Everton against Liverpool, the Merseyside derby, followed by Arsenal against Manchester United, 3:30. Right now, Sky Sports 3, it's Ajax PSV Eindhoven in the Eredivisie, and there's a Madrid derby, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, 7:25. That is on Sky Sports 1. Well, Fulham came so close to making it 2 London derby wins in the space of 9 days, but Charlton, facing a 5th successive defeat, dug deep and produced a great comeback. It finishes all square here at the Valley.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live.